This season of the Good Up podcast is sponsored by Empath Psychological Services. Good Up is our space to talk about those experiences in life we didn't know we all had in common. We're the after work happy hour conversation with your best friend.
You good up bad, like, hello.
The place where you bring up the hard parts of life, the ones that made you laugh, and the things that made you who you are. Because who said becoming good up wasn't a little bit uncomfortable? Stay tuned for more information about this week's episode.
Here at the Good Up Pod, we're all about shedding light on life experiences that have contributed to who we are and learning to navigate them to find a feeling that's, well, good up.
For some of us, that journey includes therapy. Empath Psychological Services operates with the belief that life's challenges are not all of who we are.
They aim to create a non-judgmental environment to help their clients harness their own power and to find their path to mental well-being. Good Up and Empath Psychological Services share a passion for helping others navigate their own healing their way.
If you're interested in teletherapy services in the U.S. Virgin Islands or the state of Texas, check out the link in the description box for more information on how you can book a session with Empath Psychological Services. Hey, beautiful people, and welcome back to the Good Up podcast. I'm your host, Blue Ivy Carter.
And I am the microphone that Monéa sang In Other World on.
Listen.
She done stop.
Listen. I want to start by saying this. I'm not even going to warm people up. I ain't gonna ask you how your week been. I ain't saying shit, okay? I came here. You know why I'm fucking here, okay? Y'all saw the episode title. You saw the promos. You know why I'm here, okay? So let me just say this. If you require that you be top doggy, big boss, and top priority, if your body good up, even though you had to pick me, and if they be trying to give people you, but they be giving hot mess, bitch, this is the episode for you. Okay?
Yes, no lyrics.
I'm so excited.
For our OG listeners, y'all know that me and Hayes manifested this. Mm-hmm. I need somebody to remind us of the season and the episode in which we both said.
We literally said Monéa needs to be on the podcast.
Monéa.
I have me like blush.
We go up for Monéa. So welcome, Monéa. Welcome to Good Up. It's about motherfucking time.
Exactly. Yes, it's about time.
Monéa was dragging me all
so long, especially because you say you named this after that gypsy lyric. So I don't know why.
We did. I was just nervous. I was like, I am a fan. For I don't know how to act. I don't know what to say. And
yeah, I be seeing y'all on the timeline too. I be looking at y'all. I be knowing what's going on. Don't worry. Like,
listen.
Next time. Well, now you know for the second round.
I get you. So welcome. We're excited to have you, Monéa. I'm gonna give you some time to introduce yourself to the people because a lot of people know who this woman is. Okay, there's no doubt about it, but some might not. So Monéa, talk your shit.
Yeah. The monarchy queen period. I'm just joking. My name is Monéa. I'm from the British Virgin Islands, but USVI definitely adopt me. Basically, I rep the whole of the VI at this point. Exactly. I make dancehall music. I make music for the woman. I make music for the body. I really believe in that women are multifaceted, and like you said, we could be conservative and relaxed and chill, and then we could switch into a sexual being and whatever you want to call it. I just feel I have so many different sides to women, and I feel like that's what I mainly represent.
I love it. Facts. Just
oh my God.
No. So yeah, welcome. We're excited to have you. As you said earlier, and for those who don't know, I've talked about it before, but the name Good Up actually came from a lyric of one of Monéa's songs. It's called Gypsy. If you ain't listened to it yet, how the fuck you been? So yeah, I remember we were going through this phase where we were like, we want to go through a rebrand. It's time. Mm-hmm. The old name just wasn't fitting, right? And I was listening to the song and I was like, that feeling of being good up, like that's what I'm trying to get to. And I was like, why don't we just call the podcast Good Up? And we went with that. So long story short, Monéa is a legend on this podcast and we here. So we about to have fun.
I can't stop blushing.
We about to have fun tonight, though. We are going to we all have our drinks and we gonna talk shit. We're gonna get to know each other, because I think sometimes you see people on social media and you like know them in one way, but I like getting to know people in a different way. And I think this is a good opportunity to do that. And Good Up is known for feeling like you're talking to your best friend them, right? So that's what we're doing tonight. We are going to play a very interesting game of Never Have I Ever.
Oh, yeah, why are you doing that?
Yeah, trying to get into some things all in my business.
Listen, so I will say I am known for telling my business on this podcast, but I am not going to be asking you any like super crazy shit. I think Never Have I Ever is a fun game because you kind of get to know like, oh, what have you done in your life? Or like, what have you done? Stories that always come from it. So I'm going to ask the questions, but when we play Never Have I Ever, this is the difference between what we're going to do tonight and what other people will do on date games. If you want to, you are going to tell the story or like the context behind your Never Have I Ever. Okay? If you want to. So, because a lot of times we play the game and we'd just move on, right? But I don't be sitting there like, no, bitch, I want to know how come you.
I want the tea, honey. I want to know the tea.
So here we go. I gonna warm my up though. We're gonna ask some simple questions first. And then
so you sip if you've done it, and then you tell your context if you want to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay.
Holy shit. But oh God. Okay. Because I don't know how to come up with things that I want to know from y'all, like that I've never done, if that makes sense. But we'll figure it out.
And you could choose. You could choose. Okay.
Okay.
So this is the warm-up question.
Yeah.
Never have I ever acted out the lyrics of one of Monéa's songs.
Acted out the lyrics?
I think that depends. That's unfair. I think everybody's gonna sip that thing.
Which song?
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Yes, I was very petty and like,
why not?
So everybody here has to expound on the fact that we had a quickie in the car.
You don't have
that was a good
quickie in the car is a good one.
That was a good one.
Quickie in the car is a very good one.
Because I'm definitely not going to talk about that.
But listen, all of the lyrics of the freestyle is like me at a certain point in my life.
Y'all got me here like, what my lyrics say again? Like, y'all got me quizzing myself. Like, why, sir?
Yep.
Quickie in the car.
Yeah, bad girl anthem.
So uncomfortable.
Anytime Monéa said, maybe you parking in the back, and if I'd be in the car, like, yes.
Yeah.
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 So, okay, next question. Never have I ever taken a man back who didn't deserve it. I gonna go ahead and drink.
I'm gonna just go ahead and take a sip. I'm not gonna sit here like I ain't talk all my business. Like, if I don't sip, everybody gonna drag me.
I don't tell too much. You're right. I don't tell too much of my business on this podcast.
To not tell the truth about that one. So who going first?
Deidre, I think you should go.
Fine. Okay. You know what? Fine. Okay. So y'all know I have talked about my relationship to Dylan's dad, right? It went on for way longer than it needed to. He's shown me in many ways that relationship should have been over. That's one. Two.
How many times did you take him back?
Oh,
was it a breakup to makeup situation?
Oh no, our relationship was very breakup to makeup. There were points where we would be like broken up, still living in a house, and he's in one room and I'm in the next, and we're like not speaking to each other for months. House is silent. Like, we are not speaking.
Living together.
Okay. The thing that kept me with Amorasco so long is because his ass could fucking cook. And I think his ass could do so. I believe he do some kind of obia on me because when he was tired of my shit and he was tired of the silent treatment, he used to take his ass in that kitchen and cook up something good. And he would always cook something I never had before. He would cook something real fucking good.
And he used to be in the room like, I can't fuck this.
I in the living room playing with Dylan and I could smell that fucking food and I'm like, this nigga. And he cooking something. He be real creative in that fucking kitchen. And I'm like, bitch, I ain't eating shit because I'm eating whatever the fuck he's cooking. And then he would cook the food, right? And this is what he would do. He would say, there's some food there if you want it. And he used to say just like that because he don't have a Crucian accent. There's some food in the kitchen if you want it. And I used to be like, thank you. And then he would leave.
But you still used to go eat that fuck, Deidre. But you still used to
eat hungry.
I've been waiting for that shit. You better cook. And this will be after we've been giving each other the silent treatment for like 2 months straight. Listen. And so I would devour the food. And then naturally, I would text him. Imagine we're in the same house, right? He's in one bedroom, I'm in the other. And I'm like, the food was good. What was that? And then he would tell me. And then next thing you know, macaroni sounds.
Not
macaroni. Deidre.
Yo.
Oh, okay. Monet, you want to go next?
I can't even top that story. Mine ain't really been like break up and make up, but it's more like giving too much chances. Like knowing when you see a lot of red flags.
Yeah.
And then you kind of like, I always did this weird thing. Thank God I like graduate from being a man clung or whatever. Praise God. I have a good man now. Praise God. But anyway, it's just used to. Yes, because I
male
used to,
centered.
Like,
I know what you mean.
It's not even male centered. Okay, I did come to a point in my life, not gonna lie, like I was so focused on my career and music. And for a long time, if one thing going really well in my life, the next thing was always in shambles. So if I was really doing good in my career, I felt like my relationship, my love life was in shambles and vice versa.
And vice versa, yeah.
But it just had this point where I felt like I was focusing so much on my career that I just became, I don't want to say the word desperate, but I used to second guess my intuition about men sometimes. Like I used to overthink, like they would show me a red flag that I know for a fact was a red flag, but my brain would be like, you always kind of overthinking the situation. It's not as bad as it really is. So then
that flag look kind of pink, you know.
Yeah, like
they really
I just like, exaggerating. I just anxious.
Like are my standards too high? Like I be so strict? Am I too like, now I start questioning what I know, like as myself and what I tolerate and what I know is right for me and not. So then it would be a lot of red flags, small little ones that just building, and I just there, like just loving the companionship, just loving having somebody around until it just get to the point where it's like, what you really tolerating right now? Like, you know who you is? You know that kind of feeling. Man, it just had moments where it's just, you have to check yourself like, girl, this man is not the prize. Like you are the prize for real.
Say that again.
I am the prize.
You don't ever look in the mirror and be like, I am fucking Monet. Like that don't ever.
Should have test. And
I just want to know though, because like I listen to your music after, right? And it'll make me want to talk my shit. So I'm like, I don't know what I like for it to be your music. And like, do you play it and just be like, yeah, that was me. I said I fuck. Like,
okay, like I'm that bitch.
So, the crazy thing sometimes about making music. So sometimes in a moment, I do feel that way, like how I speaking, like I feel like I don't talk my shit. I feel this way. But as humans, is like you have your ups and downs about, you're confident. One day you wake up, you feel like that bitch. And one day you wake up, you feeling like just a regular person, or you just, you
like,
get
what's
your
the point?
feelings. Yeah, whether you feeling insecure about something or your low self-esteem. But sometimes with music, like I would write about how I want to feel as well. So if I feeling like if I just went through a breakup, right? And for example, Wave is a good example of that. Like I went through like this weird like time breakup or whatever, and I just was getting in my head like, okay, just wait. I know he gonna spin the block. Like I know he gonna want to come back in my life, and I ain't gonna recheck it. Like it was one of those things, and then I made Wave. Like
you know how bad I would feel as a man. A whole song and music video, and I know I is the bitch who inspired.
That's what's sending me. I couldn't imagine being the motherfucker who she dragging on the dam.
Oh my God. Sometimes so it don't be about one specific person. Sometimes like first verse might be about one person, second verse might be about another person. And it's just kind of like a combination of like people that I'm speaking about. Or it could be a vibe where it's just like, okay, I just want to storytell in this moment. And I think that's the mystery about it. Like people wouldn't really know exactly which song I'm talking about a specific person, but because it's like more mixed in with each other sometimes. Yeah.
I love that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I want to ask you something related to that. Right. So I know there's some artists who write songs that are more so inspired by like other people. But obviously the audience assumes that the song is about the artist. Do you have any songs like that where it has nothing to do with you, but people just assume it's about you?
I can't really pinpoint a song, but I could say that sometimes it's an exaggeration of a situation that kind of loops more people into being relatable to more people, basically, I would say. So,
okay.
So for example, like, Oh Gosh, right? And that song is basically about, you know, you move on with a guy and I guess like the ex bitter or whatever. But when I wrote that song originally, oh my God, I can't believe I spilling my tea. When I wrote that
Welcome to the Good Up Podcast.
I ain't gonna go into too much detail, but when I wrote that song, I was in a weird love triangle, and I was in my delusional era, like.
We've all been there.
Isn't the delusional era fun though?
Yeah, it was one of those things as if I was thinking like I talk it to this other girl, but that's not really none at all, man. But it was just a weird love triangle, and I was talking to this other girl, so it was just. That's just so delusional. But like I say, it have parts of it that is an extrapolation of what you want to call it, exaggeration. But the gist of it, the basis of it comes from something that's real that actually happened to me.
I love it.
Oh, I love that. That's so juicy.
All right, so I gonna tell my story because Deidre dragged me when I asked question and don't answer them.
Because hey, I said it's good for it. Hey, I said we'll have you here, Monet, telling all your business and then just move on to the next question like she's supposed to answer it too.
I'm a journalist.
We're not doing this today.
So
yes,
I mean,
spill.
I think I've taken back multiple men who didn't deserve it. Okay, it's I think sometimes you grow up in a certain way where like you've either seen your parent do it or you just want to be loved at the end of the day, so you're willing to accept shit that you don't need to accept. I told a story on a podcast once. I think we did an episode about like exes, and I talked about how I dated somebody on and off for a decade pretty much. Like, and it was just toxic, and there was like ghosting involved, and then he would go off and like date other people, and I would have
something
to, like,
about his mental health, right?
And then he would come back and be like, "Yeah, I was struggling, mama. Like I was going through something." But every time he would come back, I would be like, "It's cool," like. Because one, Deidre, I ain't gonna lie.
You feel sorry for him.
I felt sorry for him
too when they do that mental health thing. I hate that shit.
Yeah, I remember asking if you felt like it was something he was weaponizing because he knew you would like feel bad. And
I had to tell you, like, because men don't talk about their mental health a lot. So for he to be like telling me what he was going through, I used to feel like, damn, like if I stay mad at you, I fucked up for it.
Yeah.
But also, the sex was really, really good. Like it was ridiculously good. Like it was to the point where I used to be like, I need somebody to arrest this man because this cannot be normal. Like
I need a reason to not have access to it. Like, and that's what upset me. I feel like those men who don't really know what they're doing, they're not be the toxic ones. Because I feel like they'd learn
they got
just so they could
yes,
I feel like they'd learn how to do the most just so they could like do that, like just be
their
lives.
I could sit here and lie and say, oh my God, like it wasn't emotional. Don't get me wrong. It was a very deep emotional connection. But I would be lying if I did not say that the sex was a major part of it. Because I used to be like, I could move on, but it ain't gonna hit the same way. Like I just, I'll take you back. But it got to a point where I was like,
be like, I don't want to stack up no new body anyways. So it's like, let me just go back to this body real quick.
Yeah, but you know what fucked that man up? I met my husband and I was like, oh shit. Like the minute somebody come and take you off your platform, I'd be like, damn, sucks for you, boy. Like,
no, honestly.
Go. Like,
and that's the problem. Like, I think these men really think that they're the baddest to ever do it. And then when you meet somebody who better, and one thing, when you meet somebody who better than the last one, you ain't never going back to the last one, babe.
And
I need to meet a new one. Okay. Because the last one I was involved with had me in a chokehold. And
don't ever assume that you are the best sex somebody ever had, because I promise you, it have better sex out there. And the minute they find that out, bitch, you
they ain't thinking about you. They are not thinking about you.
You're done. Lord, my next question ain't gonna help none of this conversation either.
You know,
never have I ever lied to a man about his sex being good.
Oh my God.
Never. We all know we do it. I'm so sorry.
You don't listen to the show.
Oh,
I feel like in a moment I probably just do that so I could get myself like into it more or some shit. Like I'd be like acting out shit. Like I don't know, maybe in a fantasy world in my head or something to just enjoy the experience a little bit more. Maybe
I have a man to this day to this day who think he rock my fucking wall, okay? And Papa's so happy about it that he'd choose to try to remind me, and I'll be like,
oh my God, no.
If you only knew.
I was involved with somebody a long time ago. And again, I don't give reports at the end. The closest you're gonna ever get. Listen, anybody who's listening to this who has had sex with me, if I've ever said thank you, that's my way of telling you that fuck was lit. I have not said, no, I'm dead ass. Like, if I say thank you, baby, that shit was lit.
How do you say it? Do you just like thank you?
I
or do you be
I just look over and I say thank you. And they're like,
no way, no way.
I just look over and I give a smirk and I say thank you. So I guess this is technically a lie. This was somebody that I was involved with for a lengthy period. And in the beginning, I used to enjoy it with him, but he was very vanilla. And I've tried to give him hints on how to be a little bit more like, you know, but it just wasn't his thing. Fine. I just kind of accepted it. I'm like, okay. But he was feeling himself this night. So I guess I fell asleep soon after. Like, once we were done, I was asleep.
Did you roll over? So, okay. I was
asleep. She didn't say thank you. So
no, thank you. I didn't say thank you. I just, you know, I kissed him to good night and I went to sleep. And the next morning, I think because I went to sleep so quickly, he thinks he put me to sleep, honey. And he was like hugging me from the back, and he was like, "You went to sleep real quick." I really did. And I was like, yeah. I just...
Okay, never have I ever creeped on an ex on social media. I don't want to say stalk, because sometimes you ain't stalking. You just
like look at the IG.
Yeah.
Question: is it like an ex-boyfriend or just somebody who I was once involved with?
It could be either. As long as you pull up on their socials to do a little check-in.
No.
Sometimes you don't gotta find out how they're doing. You know?
Yeah. I run out of my first drink here.
My
this
stress
is problematic. This is problematic.
My philosophy now is that I am blocking. I do not want to see shit.
I need to start.
Yeah, back then I want to know what you posting, and when you post, I want to know like what it's about, or like want to see like who you talking to on there and stuff like that. But no, because I dwell a lot, so I might be stuck on one person for way too long. So I find that no contact is the best thing for me. I don't want to see you. It's like out of sight, out of mind for real. You don't exist. Like honestly, like that's how I move now. But back then, I was doing a little creeping.
So question for you specifically, Monet. Have you ever like seen an ex at one of your shows while you performing? And like, does that throw you off if it happens?
Yeah, I had at my show before. I didn't see them in a crowd when I was on stage, which helps. But it would have been funny if I just looked them right in the eye and sing, right? But it had a moment, right, that this one ex of mine, he swear up and down that this one song is about him, right?
Oh my
God. But we still say we actually like cool friends or whatever. And I remember I had a show and they just tell me like, oh, they was gonna come, but they're not coming because I performing because they don't want to be there when I perform the song. And I'm like, you really think that this song, like they swear up and down that this song is about them. And they say they're not coming because they think other people already assume that it's about them and they don't want people to be looking. Like it was this whole thing.
Papa,
like,
calm down. You're doing a lot.
I was like, I swear nobody will be paying attention to you if you had to be in a crowd. Like that was so long
unless you
ago.
stand in the middle, like you like.
And
if you wear a shirt that says this song is about me.
Like
if you in hand, you know you my ex. This one is for you.
Right.
Put a spotlight on him.
That's so cringy. Oh my God.
Yeah, he was like, he coming, the song about him. I was like, dude, what? Like,
I feel like we all have an ex who really thinks that we think that much of them. Like, I have an ex who used to think that certain posts was about him, and I was like, dude, I really wasn't thinking about you. Like, guilty tantrums.
I definitely have pulled up on an ex on social media. I mean, it'll happen sometimes. Like, even somebody that maybe I talked to a long time ago, like if they IG pop up, I'll be like, how are you doing? Like, how did your life turn out?
Really?
I'd be like, oh, you have kids. That's cute. And then I move on with my life. Like, it's not like I go DM you and be like, hey, it's good to see you. How you doing? It's just like where did you end up? You know, especially if you had known me in my youth when I was out here in these streets. And like,
Doing
just
the
to see
most.
how we then now, you know, a couple years later, like, you know, you happy, healthy, all of that good shit. But like, DJ, you know, a lot of my exes, I'm still like
Yeah,
cordial
you're
with,
like friends with them or whatever. Or
some
no,
of them
maybe
don't
not
listen to the
friends,
podcast.
but
Like, yeah, so we cool. So like, I don't see.
They're waiting on their moment. They're like,
they're waiting for their moment because they're gonna go on Twitter like,
Yeah.
I know
But
y'all
no.
think that episode was about me, but it wasn't. And
No,
it's gonna
but
be
that,
like,
that
Yeah.
man I was
what?
talking about earlier,
Who are you?
those
Mhm.
phases where we wouldn't be talking, or like he would have another girlfriend.
He don't listen to the show.
I don't know if he'd listen anymore. We don't talk, but he would have another girlfriend or whatever, and like I should have been like Monéa and got no contact, but I wouldn't. I would still see his posts, and he would be posting this. It have songs, Deidre, that I cannot stand to listen to because like he would be posting them on his IG story about like this new person, and I would see it and be like, man, fuck you and J. Cole.
God.
Like,
Oh, not J. Cole. Oh.
it's J. Cole specifically, but
J. Cole
So-
catching strays.
catching strays, and I love J.
Facts.
Cole, but just shit
J. Cole
like
is the
that.
shit.
Because I wasn't mature enough to say, you know, maybe it's not healthy for you to
Yeah.
still have access to this person's page. Like, move on. This might be a little risky one. I mean, okay. Never have I ever kissed or hooked up with more than one person in 24 hours.
Oh no.
Kissed or
I'm not
hooked up.
judging.
I gonna have to drink. I had a phase.
Oh yeah, you
okay?
told the story. You told the story. So
There was a point in my life where I had more than one man on rotation, and they did not know, but
Period.
I did. And so sometimes I would, you know, see one man in the morning, we go beach or something, we hang out that day, and then I would go to the club and see one of my next man them and be like, oh hey, and leave or whatever. Like it was a very
Hey.
good point in my life. Okay, I was always safe.
yeah.
I was always safe. But I will say that physically, I would not recommend doing that shit on a regular basis. That was like a once in a blue moon kind of thing, because that
Okay.
have to be a lot.
So this
I
story is
I
gonna be a
find
little
it
bit
hard
fun.
to even like one guy. Like it'd be so hard to just like one of these men. So can't imagine like juggling a lot of them, like actually interested in more than one at a time. But when I like one person is like, finally,
See, my
like
problem
you.
is I don't like too many people at one time. Like I could sit here and say, oh, it was just sex to me, like they were just cute, man, like it is what it is. I had like each and every one of them. They were all special in their own unique
That's
way.
cute. I know they're listening.
And then I moved.
They're gonna all be tweeting like, I know y'all think
She
that
got
episode was
me.
about me.
Somebody
Yeah.
go DM me and be like, what year was this?
Yeah. So I drank. So this, I'm gonna try to keep this one quick. And this was very like unplanned. So him and I were out because we used to go out a lot, right? We used to be out. And I had this coworker, this Caucasian man who was cute. And I had a little crush on a white dude, right? But I never said anything about it. But it turns out he liked me too, honey. Because this other girl we used to walk with, we were out with the dude I was dating at the time, the lying married whore. And I don't know where he was, but what I know is at some point the white dude entered the building and saw us, and we all like were excited to see each other because we all work together. And before I know it, the white dude was kissing me, and I was kissing that nigga back. I don't know if I could call him a nigga because he was.
I was just about to. What?
But what I do know is I don't know where my date was. I don't know if he was off with his friends. He might have been. Cause me and my homegirl, we used to love to like go on the dance floor and turn on the jukebox and have fun. So I don't know where my man was, right? But what I do know, I'm gonna call him Chad. What I do know is Chad came to the party and we all bonded and said hi because we all worked together. And we danced, and before I know it, me and Chad was kissing on the dance floor. So we was at the people and function. And
where your date was when you were there kissing on the dance floor?
he might have been to the bar, or he might have went to the car for some shit. Now that I know that at the time, and this is the thing, at the time I didn't know he was married.
He
so
might
for
have
all I
been
know, he
calling
was
his
out-
wife.
I was just about to say,
Yeah.
for all I know, he was in a parking lot calming down his wife on phone because she was probably cussing he for being out late yet again because we used to be out all the time. So for
Oh
all
my
I know,
God.
he ain't in a parking lot getting cussed out from his wife.
He
And I'm
deserve it.
on the dance floor making out with Chad. So
Good.
either way, I was
Lord.
20, I was young. At the time, I felt like a piece of shit. 32-year-old Deidre is like, yes, bitch, you did that shit.
Yeah.
And I hope he
deserve that
listening
shit.
because he'd still slide in my DMs and I'd leave his ass on red. I feel like you went into my journal and looked for everything that's occurred in my life and purposefully curated this list.
I just write down the list of questions, okay? I like to make fun. So,
okay.
Never have I ever had somebody tell me that I wasn't going to do something or I wasn't going to like be good at something and I proved them fucking wrong. I hope that one makes sense the way that I phrase it. So never have I ever had somebody tell me like, you can't do this shit. And I'd be like,
right.
Like, and I actually do that fuck. I could drink on that.
I don't know. You know what? I'm not going to drink on it because anybody who's felt that way about me have not been brave enough to say it to my face. So I've never had somebody doubt me to my face. You know what I mean?
Mm.
If they have a little question like, are you sure this is going to work out? That's the closest they've come. But I've never had somebody tell me that's never going to work. Like,
have you ever like had somebody doubt you kind of publicly though? Like say it to other people?
I don't know. Because my thing is, if you don't say it directly to me, you ain't said the shit.
That's fair.
So like that's fair.
That's fair.
If you don't say it to me, then it wasn't said. Like I don't believe anything that's said about me unless it's said to me, right? So if you on Twitter like subs and all that shit, I don't have time for that shit. So nobody has ever to my face doubted me and what I can do.
What about you, Money?
Yeah, for me is like more so people not seeing, I guess, me as a star or not thinking I could make it. Like when I was just starting out, mind you, in hindsight, I was just starting out. It's like, okay, give me a chance to grow. But some people started
fuck them people,
and some people didn't. So
but he might tell the world like he didn't fucking with a star.
Oh. But it was at that time, and to this day, it kind of still like, get to me because at that time it was somebody that I really looked up to. You know, so for them to kind of be the person that could really help me in the moment, but them saying that they didn't like think that I would do well or would be, you know, like, I mean, look at me now. I feel like they had to eat their words, right? But in the moment, they definitely was not seeing it, you know, and it was, I think it was because of, I mean, I'm more different now than when I was younger, right? So I feel like I was even more reserved back then. And then I would transform on stage. And now I feel like I'm more social depending on who I'm around. And, you know, that kind of vibe is different from back then. And then I still turn up on stage. But I think that was their main reason why they didn't see it, right? They felt like I just never used to come across as, you know, my personality is not like, look at me. I want attention, like whenever I'm in situations. I would more so give input if I have input. I'm not just about to talk if I don't have something good to say or something meaningful to say. I'm not the kind of person that like, you know, people do things for clout and do things for those kind of things to get attention. And I'm more like, if I go out, you see me. I don't need to be in the middle. I don't need to be in your face, right? I feel like I'm me, I'm who I am, and you see me. So I feel like in that moment, they just never got it. But now I feel like maybe they're looking back like, oh, I cannot see it. Or maybe they're not. Maybe they still don't see it. But that has nothing to do with it.
Exactly.
At this point.
Yeah. So you don't ever have moments where just like, for example, your recent show where you finish it and you were just like, yeah, bitch, like in your face.
Yeah. No, okay, so
maybe that's just
so
me as a
funny,
person. I like to make fun.
No, what's so funny is I did have that moment because, okay, so in the industry, right, is very, especially here in the VI, people, it's a supply and demand thing, right? So you might ask for a price and tell them your price and what you think your value is, and they might feel to themselves that, okay, you're not pulling more than 10 people, 15 people. These people aren't really coming to see you to say that you should get this money. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a supply and demand thing. If people coming out to see you and spend their money, then, okay, maybe you want this much of money, right? So to me, it was kind of proving that, yo, I throw my own show. I'm the headliner. All that stuff are you going on with? I'm going to throw my own show.
Yeah,
I will show you that they have people that's going to pay money to come and see me as the headliner. Y'all think that people aren't coming to see me when you book me. You think that I can't pull a crowd, but I'm going to throw my own show and you're going to see. And people came, at least 150 people or more came to my show and I was the headliner, Right. I specifically did a vibe where it was like I was the headliner. I didn't went and bring somebody else or anybody else that I
it was
think
your show. Yeah.
And then and it was funny because recently somebody made this Facebook post, and I'm not gonna say the who, but they made it in retaliation to thinking I was talking about them on Twitter when I was ranting about something else, right? So I was ranting about a whole different situation on Twitter, and then they made this whole post on Facebook, I guess, referring to me. I don't know to this day. Maybe they're referring to me about ridiculous price and all this stuff. So I was like, okay, ridiculous price, whatever you think or whatever. And then when I after my show, I made a post, and I was just like, when people don't see your value, you have to show them, you have to prove to them that this is your value for real. And that was, to me, the show. Thank you, God, in the name of Jesus. Thank you for making it come true the way it did. But it definitely helped me prove to the people that it's kind of like, like people go and pay, and people, like, I have real fans, and it's not just social media, basically, is what I was trying to prove.
Yeah, absolutely. I get people have their own tastes and their own preferences and all of that stuff, but from day one, so I personally don't know what came before Big Jam, but my first experience of like you being on a song performance was Big Jam. And when it came out, I said, who the fuck is this girl on this verse? And I went into this wormhole of like, I need to figure out who the fuck. Instantly, from just that one verse, I was like, I need to know who Monéa is. I need to know what all songs she already get out on Apple Music. I was like, I hear for it. So it'll blow my mind, especially back home, when people are like hesitate to throw their support behind somebody, because we have a lot of talented people coming out, but also like sometimes the talent will be really fucking obvious. Like there's no question about it. And like you have not had nothing to prove to yourself, like ever.
Right. That's what's setting me. And even I'm thinking about any time that I've seen like video clips of, because obviously I've never had the opportunity to see you live. Anytime I see video clips of you, I'm like, this girl commands the friggin' crowd. Like even like, I'll never forget, I saw a performance a couple years ago, and you were performing the Sniper remix, but was it Andre was in the crowd. I think it was Village, and
he had the mic.
He had the mic, and he sang Dexter Dabb's verse. But just that whole experience, it's like, who else have fans ready to jump in and assist with a song fully and do an entire verse, and the whole crowd was eating it up. Like I've never seen Monéa on the stage and the crowd don't just look like they are like everybody just looks ready to just like
so I'm just like, at this point, and me, I talking directly to anybody who's still got a question in their mind. If you ain't here for Monéa, bitch, who are you here for?
Who are you here for? Who is there to be here for? If you are a promoter in the Virgin Islands, and I'm talking about the US and the British Virgin Islands,
and I talk about promoters who have money to pay, okay? Thank you.
Promoters who know people coming to their function. I feel like any promoter in the Virgin Islands who don't have people coming to their function, it shouldn't even be a question. It's like, when are we getting Monéa here? What? I don't even live in the Virgin Islands no more, and I already know Monéa is.
It'll be funny too. I don't even be coming home. Like it could be carnival and me planning on coming home. Thing, like, but if I don't see Monéa on the lineup, I'll be like, what the fuck are you doing? What's going on?
Y'all attended.
Listen. Y'all, may I hear? I was just talking about the friggin' uproar we were in when we did not see Monéa on that damn roster for the festival. Listen, we were like, what is happening?
Y'all would be surprised of how political it gets. For stuff like Village and stuff like those bigger stages too, it gets real political about like who is on who camp, who is friends with who against somebody. Like, trust me, it gets real political sometimes, and it's not just about what the fans want sometimes, you know. So just keep that in mind too, that it gets trickier than the fact that people want to see me, you know.
So would you say that's probably like the hardest part about trying to build up your career in that space? And like, obviously I see it beyond, like, I see you as a Virgin Islands artist, obviously, because you from home and you are one of our people, but like, I don't see you as just local, right? I see you going beyond that scope. But like, you build building your career still in those VI spaces. So like, is that the hardest part, that like political stuff that'll come in, or what would you say is your biggest challenge, I guess?
My biggest challenge is people seeing your worth while you still amongst them, I guess is what, like, people, when you in your own region, yes, you have fans and stuff like that, but it's not usually not until you go off somewhere and then come back that they might be more willing to pay you a price that you really asking for. You know, like people talk down your price a lot sometimes just because they feel, you know, you're local or whatever. But if now, I feel like it would take me one more time going out, doing a bunch of shows away and really putting myself in a different market to then come back home to do a show for people to, for the promoters and stuff to respect me a little bit more. And then maybe I could like demand a little bit more money or demand a little bit more this and that. So I feel like the hardest thing is to grow more while I'm still within this market. You know, I feel like that's why also why I threw my own show as well, because it was kind of the thing in my head, like, what else can I do in the VI as an artist right now? Like, what can I do? And I felt like throwing my own show was the pinnacle. Not to say everybody know me in the VA. I still have a lot of people who don't know who I am in the VA, you know, but it was one of those things like, what can I do instead of waiting to be booked by promoters? Right. Yeah. So it's like through my own show. And that's what I did. And I feel like now that's the pinnacle. And I could use that now as leverage to kind of say, okay, 150 people came to see me. And how much you charging at the door? How much? So you check by saying stuff like that. And I could take my whole show and use that as leverage as well for like outside of our market and kind of pitch myself to, you know, a different island or a different area and be like, this is the kind of show you could get for this price. You know, that kind of way, like people need to see it. Like people who come to the show, they will know and they will see it, you know, but most of the people are online watching and they can't get that feeling of what a fan who might be front row watching me in my face might get, you know. So all of that stuff is just kind of me walking up some kind of leverage or kind of showing like what a whole package looks like. But politically, I would say I have experienced stuff where it's like, I have come to realize that sometimes if somebody don't have anything to do with it, like your success or whatever, they kind of wouldn't vouch for you, if that makes sense. So if
it's like they want ownership.
Yeah, if you're in their camp, of course they're gonna push somebody who in their camp more so than pushing, you know, somebody else who's not in their camp. So if they ask for a specific kind of artist and they have it in their camp, they'll never push. Obviously, you know, that's just what people would do if they're like camp.
There's like favoritism, nepotism, all the isms involved. But you know, you said something that I'm really glad you mentioned, because I feel like me and Monéa found ourselves wondering if this is a thing, and you just confirmed it. That people with any kind of, you know, talent or platform or anything from the Virgin Islands, it seems like Virgin Islanders don't celebrate them until they're celebrated outside of the Virgin Islands.
And that's not just a VI thing, to be honest. I feel like that's everywhere in the world. Like people only see value out when you go and come back.
I don't know. I could be wrong, but I feel like let's since we're like using music as a reference, I feel like rappers who come out of New York, when they pop, people from New York already know who they are and go up for them. Same thing, like, oh my God, somebody was just telling me how Atlanta wasn't really like that place until like Ludacris and all those rappers from Atlanta started to get more popular in the early 2000s. And it was the same thing. Atlanta was going up for them before the rest of us had access to them. So I'm like, maybe it's not a Virgin Island thing. Maybe it's a small town thing. Maybe,
but don't look at it at like, okay, so there's two levels to it, right?
Okay.
I have my fans, I have my supporters, like the common people, but there are people, what I'm saying, in higher positions or in places that could be the one to do this for me, but they might not do that
because they feel like you're not recognizable outside of the territory.
No, not because of that, but because I'm not a part of their camp per se, or like it's just, what I'm saying is that I have support from VIA. As I'm saying, everybody doesn't know me, but I am blessed. I am one of the people who are blessed to have home support. So if I do go away, I know for a fact I have a foundation with my VA following, because people look at that, right? People be like, you're not popping in your hometown, so why should I support you? Right? So I know I have a following here, but when it comes to growing more, as in like,
so that it's like the people in power who could pull you up higher are the ones who
so
typically
for example,
are like...
So for example, you might start out and you might charge maybe like 200 because you ain't really, you ain't really that popular. You might charge a $200 for a show. As you get more fans, you increase your price, right? But what I'm saying is that in what I think is that you might have a peak as to what you might be able to charge as your price. But if you go away and say I do another big feature and I do a bunch of shows and now I'm getting a certain price elsewhere, now they're forced to pay that price because I'm getting that price everywhere else. It could mean I'll never come back home to perform because I've now grown and I'm now increased my value and I'm now getting this price, this performance fee. I'm now outside here. So for me to come back in now is like, you have to treat me like how I'm being treated elsewhere. Yeah. But if I'm only exposed to like home stuff, is a ceiling I feel like you can reach in the VA in terms of growth in the VA. That's why people be like, you start in a VA, but VA is never the goal, right? We want to go out and be appreciated elsewhere, and that's really how you increase your funds, increase your pricing, like all that stuff when you show your value in another market. Yeah. So maybe that's what I'm saying.
Maybe that's it, is that, a lot of times people don't really get that level of like respect or platform until they leave, because then they could come back and say, I went out here and I did that and they paid me what I was worth. So when I come back here to do the same thing. So yeah, I love to see it.
Me too.
I grateful for you throwing that show, obviously, because I love that you chose to do that for yourself. If people wasn't going to create that space for you, you created it for yourself. But also like, it sends the message to other people, even if it's not musical artists, like even like us, we've been talking about, going home and doing a live show for so long. And sometimes for me, that thought to creep in, like, are people going to come to our live?
Yes.
Good up show?
Actually.
Like, I would love to do it, but that self-doubt to come in, because VI crowds could be very tough sometimes.
Virgin Islanders are a tough crowd.
They are a tough crowd. So it's almost like if you could make it home and you get your people, you good, because it is tough. But seeing you do this show and like, again, create that space for yourself and say, I could keep that for now. I gonna do my own shit and I gonna charge, and people gonna come see me, and you gonna see that they're gonna come and sell out this VIP section of all these tickets. Like, it just confirmed for me, and I'm sure for a lot of other people, like, okay, if I want to do that for myself, if we want to create that space for ourselves, like, there is space to do that. We could do that. And it is possible, especially for women. That's the other part of it too, is that we have a very male dominated like entertainment industry back home in a bunch of different like genres or whatever. So seeing you do it is like, the girls, we out here. We could do this fuck.
I know. I love it.
I think that you also have to okay, so you just throw it and put it on for you, and just appreciate the fact that even if 5 people come or 10 people, it's still a testament that you guys have like a following or people that support you. And I think in the beginning I was nervous too, like, oh gosh, like, how much tickets selling slow? Like, okay, let me make a minimum of maybe 50 people. I hope if 50 people come, I'll be good. And my sister reminded me, she was like, girl, if 10 people come, you better perform your ass off with them 10 people and be grateful that they spend your money. And I was like,
money, if I had come and I was the only one, I want to hear the whole show.
Listen, going off, having a blast.
Yes, but I just say not to say is like, once you go on a limb, like leap of faith, like God going to do the rest. You just have to keep like taking the steps to it and really believe in what you're doing. And to me, just point it on in itself, whatever you decide to do, like actually point it on is an accomplishment. Like, because it's a lot of hard work to like put it on by yourself. There's a lot of stuff that go into throwing an event.
Like it is.
It's just a lot.
It is. Well, I can't say it enough. Like, we are very proud of you, and we see you and everything you're doing. Like, we here for it. So just know on those days where like that self-doubt creeping, just be like, you know what? If anybody don't get me, good up, get me. Like,
Good up, guy.
I got
Good up,
hop on
Jimmy.
the podcast real quick for
Like, exactly. If nobody else
we'll
don't
gas
fuck with
you
me,
up. We'll gas you
Deidre
up.
and Hey Isa got me. Okay. If nobody else comes on my show, Deidre and Hey Isa will be there on a Zoom call.
I was just want to say, cause
we spread
y'all
out
be
for
there
real.
in person.
I know. We need
I
to
will
be there.
try. I will try.
Listen,
Next problem. Like,
I know.
everybody's so spread out that you try to show one place, but like
everybody can't come.
Want to be there, but they can't come.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wish like we could have just have this one like big thing where everybody could be at and really see like who would be there. But yeah, that
it'd be
next
fun
dilemma.
if you collaborate with like somebody from home, someplace like maybe like Miami or Atlanta, and you really put together a fire ass event. Yeah, that's something I would listen. I do not.
Yeah, like I could definitely see traffic kind of happening in Atlanta. And
right. I'm gonna just say this: there's a particular plane that I will never board, and it's yellow. But
I will board that yellow plane if money.
I will fully board that yellow plane if Monet is having a function. Exactly.
We cannot gas you up enough for just everything you out here doing. Like, we see you, we proud of you. Like, you inspire us and everything that we do. So
absolutely.
Before we wrap up, is there anything coming up for you? I know you've been posting your shows that coming up, but anything that you want to promote, that you want the audience to make sure they go support you and listen to? The floor is yours.
So I will I'll be dropping a summer EP, so like 4 songs. So I am in the process of just re-recording some stuff and fixing up some music, but it's all summer songs, just about having a good time and being outside.
Does it include that tweet that you
a song with me and 5-2, yeah. Yeah, that one they have.
Oh my god.
Talking that shit.
Ooh, as you should. So you saying you and 5-2 giving us the song of the summer?
Period.
That's all I wanted. I wanted them on a song together. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Hey, a lot of people been wanting it. Yeah.
I so here
just
for
had
it.
to be the right timing. So the timing was right, so it happened now. So just to put it out, I think it's gonna be exactly what people are expecting. To be honest.
I'm excited.
I so here for it. All right, y'all. Well, you heard Monet. Make sure when our EP come out, I'll blow that shit up. Don't make me come out here. Period. The official Monet. You can find her on IG. You can find her on Twitter. You can find her on TikTok. Monet will be out here giving the girls the 8 counts dancing, okay? And yeah, like we said, you're welcome back anytime. This was a wonderful episode. For those of you listening, you can find us on social media at Good Up Pod, and you can help us keep the lights on in this bitch on Patreon at patreon.com/gooduppodcast. And yeah, we're gonna be right back here next week with yet another episode. We don't plan on going anywhere yet.
Shout out to our sponsor, Empath Psychological Services.
Yes, so we have a sponsor for this.
Yes, sponsor.
Yeah, girl. Sponsor for the whole season. She's from the Virgin Islands, and she loves and supports our show. So thank you so much to Empath Psychological Services. And yeah, we'll see y'all right back here next week. Deidre, don't get distracted, because you gotta tell the people them.
No.
Bye.
Bye.
This season of the Good Up Podcast is sponsored by Empath Psychological Services. The Good Up Podcast is Black woman hosted and produced by Deidre Ritter and Heiza Quinones Ivory. Find us on all social media platforms at Good Up Pod. Tag us using the hashtag Good Up Tuesday, and join the VIP section over on Patreon for exclusive bonus content at patreon.com/gooduppodcast.